It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show!
Hey there, everybody. It's the Fellowship of the Geeks podcast. My name's Thomas Schick, and joining me for this episode is Mike Marlowe.
Hey, gang.
Les Webster.
Hello.
And Liz Newman.
Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing?
Good. Thank you.
Fine and dandy.
Ooh.
I'm just fine. I haven't reached Dandy's
Not quite the dandy
level
That's cool.
yet.
That's cool. Take another pill. You'll get there. It's good.
I achieved.
I hope everybody's doing okay out there. So what's been going on in your corner of the galaxy?
Well, I had forgotten what I watched, but I remembered.
Yay.
Is it that good?
Woohoo! Well,
Good
actually, it
stuff.
was, but I was thinking it was Hulu, and it wasn't. It was actually TV. I was watching something, and my normal Saturday thing, and Brewster's Million came on, and I thought, well, this is pretty cool, you know,
Which version?
Yeah.
the TV version.
The version that was on TV at that moment, or the Richard Pryor?
Yeah, the Richard Pryor one
Okay.
with
That was a
John
remake, by the
Candy.
way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Then after that went off, Uncle Buck came on, and it's like, okay, I'm kind of noticing a trend here.
Sounds like there's a theme forming.
Yep. And then after Uncle Buck went off, Stripes came on. And then after that, Blues Brothers. Can you tell what the theme was?
That sounds like it was John Candy.
Yep. It was
Was
the
it his
John
birthday
Candy
or something?
marathon. I don't know. I thought it was kind of weird because it was the whole day. Like I said, that was what, 4 movies, TV time. So,
Not sure I would want to see TV edited versions of either Stripes or the Blues Brothers, but okay.
right. And Stripes, oh my goodness. I forgot that they played that stupid song through the whole movie. Da, 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 da. It's like, my God.
How was that again?
Da, 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 da.
Thank you. Thank you.
But yeah, I guess they didn't pay much on their score because, I think that was the only song in there. But I do like that one. I think John Candy played a really good part in that. And I've always been a Bill Murray fan, so. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've done. I've done a few holes on YouTube, but nothing too exciting.
There are way
So,
worse ways to kill an afternoon than a John
yep,
Candy marathon.
right? And I'm wanting to say they don't normally do that. I forget which channel it was I was watching this on. What was it? Was it TNT? No. It was like TNT or FX or something like that, but they don't normally dedicate a whole afternoon to a theme like that. So, yeah, it was a pleasant surprise for sure. But no, not well. And also, just kind of throw this in there.
Hmm.
I am another Mimi now. I'm Mimi too. Yay. So they called me at probably a little bit before 3:30 in the morning.
Oh,
Had the
God.
baby here. Yeah. Had the baby here before 4 o'clock. She did not go back to sleep.
Hey.
So then, full night of the baby came, ran up to the hospital. We had that storm. So that was really interesting because they were there in Frisco where the tornado was.
Yeah. Well, we could argue whether it was a tornado or not.
Right. Yeah.
I could tell a story on this, but I'll wait.
Well, when the rain started coming down, that's what I told Bill. I said we have to go because my anxiety and all. I said we have to go. I will tear myself away from this baby, but we got to go. So we missed it. But she said that on the hospital they put the alarms on and had everybody go out into the hallway. Now, my daughter-in-law is the type of person who totally does not like the rain at all. So, like, oh my God, poor girl just had a baby. They scared her to death by throwing her out in a hallway.
Hmm.
So,
That's kind of rough, really.
yeah, definitely one for the books. But one good thing about it was, um, my oldest son growing up, one of his biggest heroes was Jason David Frank. And 12 years ago, we actually got to meet him and he got to talk to him and everything else. Well, he just happened to have his daughter on that date 12 years ago. So I was like, oh, now you can remember that. So,
Because you sure as hell do.
right. Well, I came in and it popped up on my Facebook. So it was like, that's
Well, that's
that's
cool.
pretty cool. I hadn't realized it had been that long too, that it's been that long since I've been to a con with him. So it
And
was
I
definitely,
and I guess if she couldn't be born on Star Wars Day, this was probably the next best option.
yeah, definitely. Like I said, I was really hoping for a Star Wars baby. That I have little Obi coming, so I'll still get my Star Wars baby. But yeah,
Wow.
other than that, like I said, I'm just kind of pushing through.
And for the record, John Candy was born Halloween Day, 1950.
All right, so it was definitely not John
Nope.
Candy's birthday.
Does it say when he died?
Yep, March 4th,
Hmm,
1994, at 43.
Yeesh,
that's crazy.
that ain't cool.
I guess they just felt like a John Candy marathon. I
Well,
was
why
hoping they
not?
would put Spaceballs on, but you know.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Um,
What were the 4 movies again?
It was Brewster's Million, Uncle Buck, Stripes, and Blues Brothers.
Trying to think if there was a connection with directors, but I guess not.
No, because, well, you're talking. I don't remember who directed Uncle Buck, but we're talking about Chris Columbus. Uh,
Wasn't Uncle Buck a Hughes film?
it could
I
be.
think it was, yeah.
And Blues Brothers was John Landis, and Stripes was
Stripes was Harold Ramis,
Hip.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't
Uncle Buck was John Hughes, yes.
I don't think
Oh, Ivan Reitman, sorry. My bad.
Ivan right, but that's what
For Stripes.
I was blanking on his name because I knew he also did Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, Harold Ramis, I think, had some writing credit on both of those.
He
Did not direct
wrote.
he didn't direct until later.
Yeah, because he did like Baby Boom and I think and a few other films.
Hmm.
He directed
So,
Caddyshack, Vacation, Groundhog Day, Analyze This, Analyze That. Several others in between, but those are the ones that jump
Sure.
out at me.
Right. Okay.
Cool.
There we go.
yep, pretty cool.
Yep. Fun little tangent.
Mhm.
Okay. I guess that makes it my turn.
Yeah.
Unless you got more, Liz.
Nope, that's all I had.
Okay. Then I'll take it over. I'll steal the floor.
Take over.
I don't know where I'm going to put the floor, but anyway, probably on the bottom, probably down
Lay,
at the bottom. It's easier that way.
Makes sense, yeah.
lay it down. Lay it down, player.
I'm getting more and more uncomfortable with this conversation by the minute now. But anyway,
I was gonna say, but don't lay down too much, or we'll start getting music offers again. That's my deal.
I just have to remember not to lay down any sick beats. That's all. That's Liz's part of the deal. It's not mine.
That's what I bring to the table.
I only make people sick. I don't actually lay down sick beats. That's different. But anyway. So I watched a documentary this week. And as I recall, Les talked about this a couple of months ago. So this is totally recycled material.
So this is Les's fault. Okay.
This is all Les. Well, I mean, it's entirely worth it.
It makes sense, but go ahead.
Uh-huh.
So the documentary I watched was from 2022, and it is called Who Done It? The Clue documentary.
Oh, yeah.
The title is kind of a giveaway on what it's about, but that's okay. It is a really fun little documentary. It is made by a guy who just really loved the movie. It wasn't a film. I mean, he'd been to film school, but he wasn't really a filmmaker to speak of. He just decided that it was time to use his film school stuff and use whatever connections he had to start getting in touch with some of the people involved in this movie. And he had some great conversations with several folks from the movie. I mean, his interview with Jonathan Lynn runs through the whole thing. And he got a lot of really fun and interesting information out of him. He was the director and co-writer of the movie. He became the director after John Landis backed out. Speaking of John Landis, but anyway, lots of conversation with Michael McKean and Colleen Camp, and the guy clearly loved what he was doing the whole time, and it really shows in the documentary. He worked his ass off to put this thing together, and it came out great. Interesting to hear some of the anecdotes from behind the scenes. And it was also interesting to see how he handled the folks that weren't around anymore to talk to for this documentary. He did some really nice tributes to the folks who had gone before. Like he talked about Tim Curry for a little bit, and they actually had some clips from Tim Curry talking about Clue at a con. I think it was a couple of years before he died. And so stuff like that peppered throughout. Some really good stuff.
Did Tim Curry die?
Yes. Tim Curry's been gone for a few years now. I forget exactly when. Oh, wait.
I thought he had like a new project coming up.
Maybe I buried him before it was time.
I was going to say, don't
My
stop
bad.
the heart, please.
I thought he was gone, man.
I know he was looking pretty bad there for a while, but then the last time I saw him, he looked a whole lot better, and he was actually talking about some more voice work, maybe.
Yeah, because didn't he have like a stroke or a heart attack or something?
I think he had a stroke. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a stroke. His stroke was in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
I know Eileen Brennan's gone, and then we just lost Martin Mull here the last couple of years.
Uh-huh.
Madeline Kahn.
I think that's it for the main cast.
Howard Hessman?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Howard Hessman's gone too. Yeah, because they mentioned him.
I mean, it was a bit part, but yeah, he's gone
Right.
too.
But they
Oh, yeah,
probably did Tim Curry that way because it is hard for him to get around and stuff.
yeah, I'm sure
Well,
he
probably at
doesn't.
the time that he was trying to do the thing, do
Hmm.
the documentary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep, he's had some. I mean, since the stroke, he's had some other health issues from time to time too. So
Yeah.
might have just not been possible at that point.
Yeah, I think I've talked about this documentary too. It's a really good one. I enjoyed the heck out of it.
Yep.
Hmm.
And this says it's available on Tubi, though I actually watched it on YouTube. So it's in both places.
Yeah, that's where I saw it was on YouTube.
Good.
I'll have to watch that one.
Mm-hmm. Ludo did it. Ludo did it. Ludo did it.
It's a fun movie too, if you ever get a chance.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about it before.
Mm-hmm.
We did a whole episode on it.
It's a hoot. I even talked to Lee Ving.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He actually spoke well of it. He spoke well of his experience.
That's good. He was the policeman, right?
No,
No,
he
he
was
was
Mr.
Mr.
Body.
Body.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was
What?
the punk singer they got to play Mr. Body.
Mm-hmm. What I didn't realize, I think it may have been, I don't remember if they mentioned it in the documentary or not, but the actor who played the driver for Colonel Mustard, the one who got uh, what happened to him? I can't remember now. How he was eliminated? Anyway, that is the same actor that played the deputy in Jaws, the first Jaws.
Ah,
Okay.
so he was used to dying horribly.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Been a few years between those films. I'm sure
Yeah,
he
like
did other
10.
things, but yeah,
I would hope so. Gosh.
I just don't know. I don't know his filmography off the top of my head. So
Right.
okay. Anything else?
Nah, that's what I got.
Okay. How about you, Les?
I've been on YouTube watching reactions to songs, and I believe the man's name is Sebs, S-E-B-S, Duran, D-U-R-A-N. And it's kind of amusing to hear him talk about these songs because these are songs that I grew up with. And not to have heard them until his, or that he does, amazes me because how can you get through video or music stacks without hearing these songs? So if you get a chance, that's one to listen to. Uh, he's done everything from country western to uh, just pop. It's
Hmm.
fun stuff to listen to, and he's very knowledgeable of what goes on. So I've been listening to a lot of those. That's mainly my contribution to this discussion. And, oh, by the way, Mike,
Mm-hmm.
what was it you were going to talk about when Liz was speaking?
Yeah,
Oh,
Mike.
That storm thing. It was
Yeah.
about the storm. Yeah, that was Sunday night for those of you at home. And because I live in Frisco, and that storm, it was fun because they were on all the news people were on it, and they were all over it, and they were talking about how strong it was and how there was rotation and it looked like a big old tornado coming, and this went on. I mean, just Chicken Little out the wazoo here. And right on time for when they said it was going to get here, it got here. And through that whole time they were talking about it, that storm was weakening and weakening and weakening. I got at my house and I was right down the barrel of that thing. Right there, I mean, if you watch we're watching the radar, there was that indent in that storm, which is always indicative of a really good chance of a tornado.
Yeah.
And that I mean, that sucker went right over my house, and we got about 10 minutes of rain and a little bit of wind out of the whole thing.
Ah.
And a complete loss of sleep for that night, by the way, on top
Mhm.
of it, because the way they were talking, it was stressful, especially for a homeowner,
Yep.
right down the barrel of that storm.
I think we were going the opposite way of the way it was headed.
Uh-huh.
But see, I was right. We left in time.
You did. I don't know when you left, but you left in time.
Mhm.
And it wasn't all that. To be honest, I would much rather they overblow it a little bit. I would much rather have some false alarms than
Mhm.
not enough warning for when the shit really does hit the fan. So I'll take it. Um, I was a little
For sure.
salty because I did not sleep that night. There was just no way that was going to happen.
Well, we need all the help we get with the cutbacks on National Weather Service and all that. So, you know,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Willing to forgive them a little bit of a Chicken Little moment. I
Yeah,
would
did y'all
rather.
see that PBS or not PBS? Sesame Street's been picked up by Netflix?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. I never thought I'd see it leave public TV, you know?
I mean, it left public TV years ago, but
It
yeah,
did with HBO.
yep.
Hmm.
It'll be interesting to see what Netflix does with it.
Mhm.
I did
I
not
liked
read
what
that
HBO
article.
did. So,
Well, it'll do well for the first couple of years, and then Netflix will cancel it.
yep.
That's the usual pattern, yeah.
That's Netflix way. So,
And I just got the new generation to watch it. So,
mm,
Sesame
Yep.
Street lives on.
Yep.
okay. Well, for me, I debated, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna watch one of these, and I picked one, and I'm sure it wasn't any better than the others, but the movie I saw, and this is on Tubi, The Mousetrap.
Mm.
This is one of the Steamboat Willie's turned into a slasher film.
Oh.
Yeah, I was thinking a different one. I think that
Um,
was Mouse Hunt.
did, did
Well,
what?
Totally.
be a bit different.
I was thinking there was was it a Neil Simon play that was made into a movie called The Mousetrap? I don't remember if it
There
was
probably
actually
was.
Well,
Neil
there was
Simon
an
or not.
Agatha Christie.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Well, I mean, it was originally titled Mickey's Mousetrap. They took Mickey out because they didn't want to. They didn't want to.
Piss off the mouse.
Right.
Mhm.
Wow. This was not a good movie. The writing was just horrible. And one of the detectives, and I don't blame the actor. I mean, the actor can only do so much with what they're given. But it's just, you got the good cop, bad cop. He's playing the bad cop, and he's given all the cliche, horrible lines. And it's like, oh god, it's like nails on a chalkboard. It was that bad. But the whole premise is bunch of friends get together to celebrate young woman's birthday, although it wasn't for another 2 weeks. And they're celebrating at this basically arcade, kids arcade thing, which is the one that they used to go to when they were kids. So they grew up there, so that they, this is their place.
That's not awkward at all.
Yeah, that's not awkward at all. So they're holding a quote unquote private event. It was reserved after the place closed. Meanwhile, the owner, who apparently is a Steamboat Willie fan, stayed to watch. He started watching the movie. Of course, they got to play the movie a little bit because, hey, it's public domain. There you go.
Mm.
He also has a 1920, I don't know, a very old vintage Mickey Mouse mask, which all of a sudden starts talking to him. And there's a little bit of spoiler, but I mean, it's in the first few minutes of the film, so you get over it real quick. He puts it on and starts killing everybody.
So basically, as many cliches as they could fit into however long this movie was.
It's all the horror movie cliches, not done well, with horrible dialogue, and it's just yeah, it was yeah.
So about what you expected then.
Actually, well, it was actually worse than I thought, but
Oh wow.
I mean, I didn't have high expectations for it. Let me just go ahead and say that right off the bat. But it's just, I don't know.
You set a low bar for it, and it didn't even come close.
It didn't even come up to that low bar. No, sir. No, sir.
Wow.
No, sir.
Well, allow me to be the first to say thank you for taking one for the team on that one.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Hey, that's okay because there's several others, and that got me an idea of we can do this for next October.
Oh,
Not this October, but next October.
I don't believe you for a second.
There's 3 Popeyes this year. We got Popeye the Slayer Man, we got Popeye's Revenge, and then Shiver Me Timbers. Those are all Popeye slasher films. So there's 3 there. Of course, there's Winnie the Pooh, 2 of those, and at least 1 more Mickey Mouse horror film. So hey, there's enough. There's enough to do out in October.
Mm-hmm. We'll discuss this after recording.
Sure. and some of them are already on Tubi. So there you go.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Straight to Tubi. That's a thing now. Awesome.
Well, I mean, I went there because I remember seeing Winnie the Pooh, and that's what I was going to watch. But I saw the poster for Mousetrap. I'm like, let me try this. So I may go back and do Winnie the Pooh. We'll see. Although I've heard that one was bad, so pretty bad. So I don't know.
There are better bad movies out there.
I know. But I mean, this is the sign of things to come with everything starting to hit public domain. You know?
That's crazy.
Uh,
I mean, we've already had a horror film with a Superman archetype, but hey, you know, we got Superman coming up here in a few years. So we'll have a slash of aliens from another planet that has all these superpowers. They could just start killing everybody. Yay. And have a literal Batman, too. Yay.
yeah, DC did that too. It was called Man Bat.
Yeah, but they hadn't done that live action yet. They're doing
Yeah.
Clayface, but hey, you know, of course they did Joker. So
Penguin.
yeah, the
Mhm.
Penguin series, yeah. So, alrighty. On that note, let's go ahead and take a quick break before we get into this week's discussion. Welcome back. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the first live-action X-Men movies. And I
25th?
thought, huh? Yeah,
20
25th. Yeah,
okay.
25th. I'm sorry. What's the?
Time flies.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously for me.
Also, numbers are hard.
It is when you don't get a lot of sleep. But
Mhm.
That math sucks.
So I thought with us getting closer and closer to a reboot with X-Men being brought into the MCU, figure we'd take a little time to kind of go over this film. If y'all want to go over the franchise, I guess we could do that. But I figure for the most part, we would just talk about this first film and get your thoughts about it.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
This was another one I rewatched this weekend. I remember watching it as I was watching it, but I think there's just been so many of them. I had forgotten this movie. Um, Not bad. I had forgotten that James Marsden was Cyclops. Now I like James Marsden. I loved him in Westworld. He did that jury movie that I really liked and everything else, but I did not like him as Cyclops. I didn't.
To be fair, they kind of shat on Cyclops in these films.
Yeah, I I think they played too much into the ego thing and just kind of made him feel really flat, not used to what I'm used to seeing with him. Um, that being said, I did kind of like the little quips between him and Wolverine, especially knowing where that history is headed. you know, um, but yeah, um, I couldn't understand why a guy who has metal all through his body kept going after a guy who's a magnet. There was going to be some problems there, which proved to be his downfall quite a few times in this movie.
you you might be stumbling around the major story flaw in this movie, honestly.
Yeah,
You might be getting close to it there.
yeah. But you could tell it was an ego blow when he was like, no, he was actually looking for Rogue, not you.
Right. Why? What made you think this is about you?
Yep.
Well, honestly, probably that the whole rest of the fucking movie was about him. Whether
Yeah.
it should have been or not is another question. But yeah, it's a very Wolverine-centered movie, despite the fact that Wolverine's not the target.
Yeah.
This to me is a major story flaw. There's no reason for this. There's literally for a debut X-Men movie. There's no. I mean, you want to have him in it, fine. You want him to be a major character, fine. It doesn't need to be centered on him.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for it to be centered on him.
Well, but
Well, I guess.
the problem is they do that in all the films,
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
about.
They do, and then this is the one that started it, and
Yeah.
they've never learned this. They've never learned from this mistake.
And
Which
the funny thing is you make that comment that Magneto that made. That's not the last time he says that. That you think this is about you. He
Yeah.
makes it. He makes it in 2 or 3 other films.
mhm.
Something along those lines. It's like, well, we think it's him because that's what y'all are showing us.
Yeah.
Because that's literally
Well,
where
you
you
blew up his
centered the
truck.
story.
You know. But I did like Hugh Jackman in this.
Oh,
Don't get me
100%.
wrong. Yeah. And I did have to laugh out loud when they were going to go save her and they put him in a suit and he's like, "You guys actually go out in this?" And he's like, "Yeah, what'd you expect? Yellow spandex?"
Haha. Possibly the best line in the whole damn movie. There's some
Yeah.
good lines in this
Absolutely.
movie, but
Yeah.
that's probably the best.
Yep. But yeah, all in all, I mean, I would watch it again for sure. I said growing up, this was James's favorite movie, so I'm surprised I didn't remember more of it than I did. But see, he didn't complain about Wolverine because he liked Wolverine. That's why
Right.
he was watching it. But yeah, I can definitely see that. We didn't really know much about Rogue, and that's who the story was about. You know?
Well, yeah, she was she was the MacGuffin. It turned out that they actually wrote her as a pretty good character.
Hmm.
Given what they had, they changed her story up a bit, but it worked. Um, but unfortunately, she was the MacGuffin, which is kind of crappy, but also
Yeah.
made sense if you think about it. Um, Focusing the whole movie on her might not have worked. In
No.
their defense, I mean, I bitch and moan that Wolverine was the center of this movie and he shouldn't have been. Well, I'm not sure the movie would have worked with Rogue as the center of it either. It would have been a very different movie.
Yeah.
With Wolverine, at least you get some action. I don't think a Rogue movie would, at that stage, would have been not the way they built her. It wouldn't have been an action movie.
Mm-mm.
It would have been some weird teenage drama thing.
True.
Um, that said, I definitely liked this movie. I enjoyed the hell out of it when it came out.
Hmm.
I watched it several times in the in the first few years that it was out. I haven't seen it in a while, but
Yeah, it's
I
been a while
remember
for me too.
I remember it pretty well because it made a pretty positive impact. I liked most of the characters, like you said. They did Cyclops kind of wrong.
Mhm.
Um, I kind of get why they did it, but I still think I think they overdid it. I think it was crappy that they overdid it. They did it for the sake of the love triangle.
Yeah.
They wanted to make damn sure Wolverine won that battle, even though he wasn't supposed to. Um, and honestly, let's be realistic. Cyclops has always been kind of a goody two shoes anyway. Um,
Yeah.
it's one of the things that makes him mildly unlikable, but good enough at the job to stick in there, to stay in there, to keep in there.
Yeah.
He needs to be a little too He needs to be a little blustery. Because honestly, he's the guy who does the talking a lot of the time. I mean, to call him a leader of a group of 4 people is probably on the ridiculous side, but you know,
Yeah.
he was never a I don't want to say never. He was usually not that deep a character anyway. They could have tried a little harder in this movie to make him a little more likable, but
Yeah.
eh.
Or
I
give
mean,
him some
and,
kind of personality.
right. And to your credit, James Marsden did the best he could with what he had, but what he had was pretty damn
True.
paltry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because you said he talked a lot, but he did it in this one, you know.
Right.
So it was kind of very downplayed, of
Right.
his
Well,
role
and the
in that
deal was
group.
if Wolverine hadn't been there, he might have talked more because he would have been the one they were looking at.
Yeah.
But I mean, sticking Wolverine in there is a lot like sticking James Bond in there. I mean, something's going to explode and it's going to do it soon and it's going to do it big. That's the whole point. And that's what makes Wolverine fun on film is that he's usually the epicenter of the explosion. That's not the kind of character Cyclops is. And he's going to get overshadowed real fast. I mean, just like in the comics. I mean, that was the deal with Cyclops was fine until Wolverine showed up, and then things started getting funky for Cyclops because there was like a real sort of weird competition thing that Cyclops was not prepared for.
Yeah.
Not really, didn't really come into this intending to psychoanalyze Cyclops, but it's it
Cycle.
makes psychoanalyze.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Easy for you to say. It wasn't for me.
But yeah, so it made that a weird character dynamic, which was unfortunate, but the movie was going to be the movie anyway. So, and the
Yeah.
movie turned out pretty good. The bad
Yeah.
guys were just annoying enough, and the good guys were just strong enough, and awkward enough.
Yeah. And
Usual
I'll
mutant
always
shit.
enjoy watching Ian McKellen,
Oh hell yeah.
and Patrick Stewart too.
Hmm. Those two together are a lot of fun.
Hmm.
They played off each other, that's for sure.
They did.
And it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
I have a question though. I know that the thought was that Wolverine and Jean and Dot were a love triangle of sorts. But I thought Wolverine was more into Kitty Pryde later than he was Jean. That makes sense?
See, I always thought that was more of like a mentoring thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Kitty's younger.
Kitty was noticed. I mean, everybody's younger than Wolverine, but
Well, true.
yeah, Kitty was a kid
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, and she appeared in this movie, so
Very, very briefly, but yeah,
yeah.
as another character that the movies always gave a crappy deal to. I would have loved to have seen more Kitty Pryde in these movies.
And
What we
people
need is this Excalibur film.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be fun.
That would be very fun.
Especially if it was similar to the early stories.
Right.
Those were fun reads.
Yep. Agreed. I would love to see that version of Captain Britain in a film.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun.
I don't know about that suit, but
Oh, I don't know. I think it would be fun to do it for a while and then have them come to their senses and get them another suit.
Give him something, please. Oh, I've never liked that suit.
It's pretty ostentatious.
Mm. I thought they did a pretty good job with the casting. I thought the choices were spot on. They did. I mean, Patrick Stewart. Come on. That was kind of that was a giveaway.
Right. How do you not? I mean, if you
Yeah.
have the opportunity,
Yeah.
how do you not? For sure.
But I was not familiar with Ian McKellen until this film, and man, I was kind of blown away. And I enjoy everything he does now. So
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Now keep in mind, this is right about the time. I mean, they would have I don't know for sure if this was in a break between Peter Jackson movies or if it was right after the filming of The Lord of the Rings, but it was in that time frame.
Yeah. He would have been really busy.
Fellowship came out in 99, and my guess is they probably had filmed most of all three of those films well before they came out. So they might have actually been done with shooting The Lord of the Rings when they did this one. But yeah, he was kind of on top of the world,
Yeah.
and deservedly so.
Yeah, I'm looking at his IMD or IMBD, and yeah, it was like boom, boom, one right after another.
Mm-hmm. He was building a whole hell of a lot of nerd cred in that time frame.
A whole lot.
Whole lot of nerd cred.
Huh.
Did he not go on to do some of the Potter movies?
No.
No, he looks like the guy who is.
I thought he
Who is
took
that
over
one?
for Richard Harris.
No, that
He
was Michael
may.
Gambon.
Did he?
That was Michael Gambon.
Okay.
I mean, who is also a good actor in his own right, obviously.
right. Yeah.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if they offered it to him, and
Yeah.
I also wouldn't be surprised if he didn't want that many nerd brains exploding all at once. After Gandalf and Magneto, I'm not sure Dumbledore was a wise choice from an end of the world perspective.
Yeah, I rewatched it twice, and I enjoyed it.
Still good, huh?
Still good. It's held up,
Cool.
and it's nothing that anyone can really take much away from. It's just a good, solid film.
Yep. I mean, like Tom said, casting was pretty much greatness, and special effects were awfully good.
True for that, especially for that time frame.
Yep.
Last time I watched it, I did remark how well the special effects still hold up.
Especially Mystique. That was kind of neat.
Rebecca Romaine.
Oh, a lot of teenage boys agreed with you.
Right. In the comics, she had clothes, though, right?
Yes, usually.
Okay.
Well, until then. I mean, obviously after that things changed, but
Yeah.
as often happens.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Sometimes for the better, sometimes not.
wonder what Rebecca's thought process was in that.
Wait, it's cold.
Yeah, I'm sure she was freezing her ass off most of the time. But yeah,
Yeah.
she's allegedly coming back for something coming up.
Doomsday.
Is it Doomsday? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we are.
Yeah, I mean, just, yeah, all of them are coming back. Well, not all of them. I don't think Halle Berry's coming back. Or at least, they haven't announced her yet. But hell, they got Alan Cumming coming back to do Nightcrawler.
Which I'm impressed by.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought he would, but hey, we'll take it.
Is there any character in this that you disliked? Now, I'm not just saying as an actor, but I'm saying, was there a character that you disliked?
I was not disappointed to see Toad get his comeuppance.
Yeah.
Or Ray Park.
Hey, credit where credit is due.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Park played the Toad as a total asshole
Mm-hmm.
and did well at it. I mean, his performance is part of why I didn't like Toad.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it, but it's just between that and Darth Maul, it's just like, man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
He was also kind of on top of the world there for a bit. For very different reasons, obviously. But
Mm-hmm. Didn't he play Snake Eyes in the G.I. Joe films? I don't remember.
I don't know. I didn't see those.
I did, but I just don't remember.
Him or somebody like him. I mean, obviously Liz's answer to this is Cyclops, but yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to like him though.
I think a lot of people want to like him, but it's not easy. I mean, there's just not a lot there.
Yeah.
Which is a damn shame. It's honestly he's probably more interesting as a character when Havoc's around. He's not any less of a dick, to quote Wolverine in the movie. But at least he's a more interesting character that way.
Yep.
And we didn't get Havoc in any of these. I mean, if we did, he was in the background like Kitty Pryde was.
I don't think we got him. Unless he was in the third one, which
Nobody
only
wants to
what
remember the third one.
I watched it once, and that was more than enough.
That was plenty.
Is that the last stand?
Yes,
Yes.
with the damn juggernaut. Oh God.
They never quite got him right either. But anyway,
No.
he was a weird, off the wall kind of character to begin with, so can't be surprised.
And of course, this is just my opinion. This is another. I'm going to say trilogy because I think First Class and all that is it's a little different, especially since they recast everybody except for Wolverine. Where I think the strongest and best film is the second one. That's the way I feel about Spider-Man. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. The second film is the best of the trilogy.
I won't argue with that for sure. I didn't see the second X-Men movie as many times as I saw the first. Not because it wasn't good, but because
Yeah.
I didn't feel the need to see it multiple times, I guess. So I don't remember it as well. 3 was bad.
What was the second one about again?
The second one was basically an adaptation of God Loves, Man Kills. You had Brian Cox as Stryker, which he was, once again, casting's just perfect. Where he was wanting to try to kill off all the mutants. So
Which one was it that Gene decided to be bad?
that
Oh,
was
that was the third one.
Last Stand, yeah.
Okay.
Because she, quote unquote, died at the end of the second one.
Yeah.
She sacrificed herself to save everybody else.
And then was reborn as the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Starting the whole thing down a chain that none of us wanted. We knew we were going to get it,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't want it.
Not only did we get it, we got it again because they did it. They did it again.
Yep.
So I hope to God, with this new run, they stay away from the Phoenix for quite a while.
Right. Just give us a rest. I mean, it's like getting Batman's origin story every time. I mean, come on.
Yep.
Yes, we know that's where the story goes. Can we have some story before that, please? Can we have something that's just not that? Anyway, I don't need to start that rant again.
Oh, but you do.
No, 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 no. Everybody who listens to this show knows what I think about that sort of thing. They know what Liz
No,
thinks
Mike,
too.
why don't you tell us?
Yep.
No, Mike, tell us what you think.
We'll list the previous episode in the notes on this.
Oh man, are
Just
you
search
keeping an index?
Batwing.
Because I'm not keeping an index.
So you could search Batwing and pull them up pretty quickly.
I'll have to try that. I do have some archives of. I have archives of the show notes for a while back. Anyway, maybe I could find something.
The question is, do you want to?
The question is, am I going to find what I want, or am I going to find something else entertaining?
We're always entertaining.
We amuse the hell out of ourselves, so it
Mhm.
counts. That's got to count for something, right?
It does.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
All right. On that note, we are going to go ahead and take a quick break and be back with Geek News for You. And we're back, and it's time for Geek News for You. In this segment, we bring a couple of news items to the table for discussion. And this week, it's Les and myself. And Les, would you go first, please, sir?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
One of these weeks, one of us is going to go, no.
I've thought about it. I have thought about it.
Well, so much for the camaraderie.
He knows I love him.
Uh-huh.
Good thing.
Just keep believing that.
Good night, all.
Oh, were you saying something, Les? Go ahead. I'm sorry, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
One of
I'm
the
sorry.
Okay, we're done now.
No, you're not. I
Probably.
know.
Probably not.
I want you to leave all of this in on the recording.
Oh yeah, there was that. Oh yeah, never any thought of cutting this out.
Now everybody will understand what I get through.
You will have all the sympathy you can handle.
Well, my story.
Jesus.
God.
It's like, shut up!
I
I'm
can't
sorry.
win.
I'm sorry.
Okay. My story concerns the new program coming out on Disney Plus, about Ironheart. Ironheart is a creation by co-creator Mike Deodato Jr. And he had a letter to Marvel concerning this. He is not pleased with what Marvel is doing in the respect that payment for the creation and some of the books and such that have gone out are not filling his coffers, and he's kind of upset that uh, the program is going on Disney, yet not really paying attention to Deodato or his cohort. The thing is that he created Ironheart with Brian Bendis, who did so many titles for both DC and Marvel, and some independents. And the main problem is that Deodato would like the chance for at least some recognition for this upcoming series. In other words, even saying created by, thank you type information for the episodes. The way I see it is Marvel doesn't pay them a lot to begin with. And as a result, they get chopped down in the world of comics itself. And both DC, Marvel, well, even Image or any other is going to hold back on some sort of idea that they're not owed to have a full paycheck or something. So this way, both the creator and the world knows what's going on. So to me, this is big trouble for the upcoming title, and the powers that be we've discussed several things about it. We know that this is going to cause trouble. Otherwise, I don't know, we may even find out about Bob Kane and Simon and Schuster ideas about this. And as a result, it's going to cause headaches, bad feelings, people stopping work with various creators stop working for various companies. And in a lot of suits or ideas, to me, this should not be. I can't say this has to be, but no, it doesn't have to be, but let's tap the brakes a little bit and make sure that we can we contribute to all. He is the artist for this. Bendis is the writer. And you think about it, it was in Invincible Iron Man #7 by Bendis and Deodato. Riri Williams made her comic book debut as the genius with a knack of mechanical engineering. So that idea, it was somewhat unique for comic books, yet it really relied upon the character Iron Man to pull it forward. So personally, I think they've got something to say about both Deodato and Bendis should have something to say about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems a shame that, 100 years in, we're still having a hard time with this concept.
I agree. Yes.
I was about to say I don't understand it, but unfortunately I do understand it, and the reason is really pretty shitty. And I don't think, would it really hurt them to make some token gesture here? Probably not. And other than the fact that best case scenario is somebody didn't think of it. Somebody didn't go back and say, oh, we should give Deodato and Bendis credit for creating this character or something.
Yeah.
And it's not like we haven't had this problem before.
Mm-hmm.
We have it constantly, and there's been active lawsuits about this sort of thing for like 60 or 70 years now. And yet somehow we're still just not learning from that. And that's the part I don't get.
It's somewhat of a question of the haves and have-nots.
Right. It's a money issue, and
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be. It's not like there's not a whole lot of money floating around in these projects. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
I agree there.
Yeah, I definitely can see that they'll get a special thanks on the show, but in terms of compensation, man, it's gonna have to take a suit. It's gonna have to take a lawsuit for that to happen.
I agree.
Right, and it really wouldn't have. It would be a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't think they're
disagree.
asking. I don't think they're asking for 25% of the profits. If nothing else, it's a streaming series, right?
Mm.
Who knows how the damn profits work anyway? Nobody. I'm guessing Amazon and Netflix still don't know how that works. And they're the ones who've been doing it the longest. But just something. It wouldn't take. It comes out. It could come out of the marketing budget, and it still would be a drop in the bucket.
Yeah,
And
who's better to promote the damn show than the people who created the character that the show's based off of.
right. How good, as bad as it looks when they have to file lawsuits to get any sort of anything, how good would it look if they didn't?
Mm-hmm.
If they could go out and post to the people who follow them, wherever they follow them, and say, hey, they're giving me credit for this. How cool is that?
Yep.
That would make huge strides toward the goodwill of the comic fans, which I'll grant you is not a huge percentage of the population, but it's still there and it's still sizable, and they're a vocal percentage of the population. Why is it such a big deal? I don't get it.
We haven't solved anything, but we know about it.
I know, they keep not listening to us. Crazy.
Yeah, Jensen, come talk to us.
Absolutely.
Right.
Alrighty.
As much free pub as we give that dude. Come on, man. Throw us a bone. Come on our show once. Damn. How hard would that be?
You don't live too far from me as far as going to high school, so hey.
Yeah. They'll be in town.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, y'all remember a few weeks back I was talking about they were gonna do a movie, a Toys R Us movie. Y'all remember
Yeah.
that?
Oh, yeah. We
They
got
were like,
news?
what the hell?
Well, well, if you thought that was strange, how about this that came down today? Mattel and TriStar Pictures are getting together to do a movie based off of Whack-A-Mole.
I mean, in our day, didn't we call that Caddyshack?
That's a good one.
According to Mattel Films president Robbie Brenner, Whack-A-Mole is more than a game. It's a laugh out loud battle of reflexes that has brought joy and a little chaos to family for 5 decades. We're beyond excited to team up with TriStar Pictures to turn the iconic experience into a wild, action-packed ride for the big screen.
Hmm. That's crazy.
I want to know who's going to play the mole.
Hmm.
I think it needs to be either Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise.
Or what's that one? Or he's a groundhog. I was about to say Pete Punkswick or whatever his name is.
Punxsutawney Phil?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's a groundhog. You know, honestly, a little bit of makeup, you'll never know the difference.
Right?
You
Not,
could do it.
not that anybody would care, but you know.
No, nobody would care at all. But
Right.
yeah.
In the article, it also mentions a couple other toy films that are in different phases of development. One of them is Matchbox, obviously the cars.
Cars. Yeah. There's been a Hot Wheels movie already, so.
Right. But the other one that's actually in production right now is Masters of the Universe.
That's been in production for a while, hasn't it?
Mhm. I think it
It's
has with
been a few years.
Leoto.
Yeah, Jared Leto as Skeletor,
Mm-hmm.
and Idris Elba as Man at Arms, Nicholas Galitzine as He-Man. That's supposed to come out in June of next year. Actually, according to this, Matchbox has already wrapped up principal photography with John Cena and Jessica Biel, and that will come out in the fall of next year.
Well,
Hmm.
John will need the money now because he's leaving wrestling. So
He was still in wrestling?
yeah,
Oh, wow.
this year is his last year.
Oh, I thought
Oh.
he left years ago. I don't pay much attention to wrestling, obviously.
It's okay.
So everybody look forward to a Whack-A-Mole movie and how they'll try to figure out a plot from that game. But okay.
I think they should do it as like a German expressionist silent film.
And
The cabinet of Dr. Whack-a-Mole.
We whack it. Whack it.
Whacking? Yes, indeed. No, never.
First we wax them all. Then we wax them all again.
Yep. Whack
So-
it.
so as you're
Yeah.
watching the words whack or thump appear on the screen to give you that effect of silent
Or the-
film.
Wow.
they-
Like
they-
old
yeah,
Batman
yeah.
ones.
Yeah,
Zowie.
Yeah. Holy moly, Batman.
Holy guacamole.
Or should it be whack-a-mole?
Holy guacamole, Batman.
it's okay. It's okay. The sequel just has the heroes walking into a Taco Bell. That's the
Whacked
movie.
it back.
Should be interesting.
Will it be?
I have no idea. I hope so. I hope it's amusing at least. Whether it's good or not, who knows?
I would
But
say if not, the laugh tracks definitely will.
yeah, so turn it over to the Riff Tracks guys. They know what to do.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Any special shout outs or mentions this week?
No, not
No.
me.
Nothing here.
All right, we'll move on to our regular shout outs. First of all, we want to thank Pop Goes the Culture for allowing us to be a part of a great little podcast network. We recommend that you check them out. There'll be a link in the show notes. We also want you to check out the fine men and women who support us on Twitter by retweeting our links. And they're better known as Potter and Family. The best way to do that, to check them out, is to do a search. Hashtag Potter Family, all one word, scroll through, and whatever catches your eye, by all means, download that episode, and hope you have a great time listening to them. Also want to thank Manny the Martyr for supplying the music to the podcast. In our show notes, you can be able to check out some of their other music. Thank you guys as always. And finally, you, dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. We'd love to hear your feedback. There's several ways you can reach out to us. Email is email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. Or you can go to the website, go to the About Us page, and there's a contact form you can fill out there. I believe we mentioned it earlier in the show, but we do have a Discord that's open invite. Sign up for Discord is free, and the app is free in all the app stores. We'll post a lot of news items, stuff for discussion, stuff to laugh at, stuff to check out, and we'll do activities on the Discord. We do have an open invite on our homepage, just right there. So come join us if you want to do that. Social media wise, we're on Facebook, The Fellowship of the Geeks. On Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky, we're at Fellowship Geeks. If you want to follow our personal Twitter accounts, Mike can be found at Mikey Geek. Liz can be found at LN_geek. Les may or may not be found at Fake Les Webster. And I can be found at TomTC Geek. And from wherever you download our episodes, if you'd be so kind as to rate and review the show, it would be greatly appreciated. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Just thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, and thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening, everybody. We appreciate the support as always. Until next time, geek on, my friends.
We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook at The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,